Hi, it's MRA week 15 of watercolor. This week we're getting back to basics with a lesson on value. Value has to do with the lightness of a color. These color charts that I've shown you many times are a type of value chart. They show how concentrated or how light the colors on our palettes can be. Using our spirals, we'll make three-step value charts at the top. The first two I've already completed. I'm going to do the third one so you can see it. And then along the bottom, we will do 4 graded washes. I've already done the last two. The last two, I'll show you how to use a wax crayon to make some resist marks and alcohol drops to make this effect after the paint is put down. Using whatever colors you want to use, you're going to make 3 paint puddles. Try not to use too much water because you need a lot of pigment that very first brush stroke that you make, because from there on out you'll be making water mixed in with that color on the paper, not in your paint puddle. You won't be adding additional water to your puddle, you'll just be adding it to the paper. We're just starting with a concentrated, about a 3-inch stroke here. Add color and then wash it out. Well, when you wash out your brush, make sure it's not still really full of a lot of paint. Because you'll want the color to lighten without using tons of water so it doesn't flood back into the original mark that you made, if that makes sense. You can play around with it to get the color to spread out, or say if you added a little too much water, you can dry your brush and then remove some of that to try to get 3 different values: the darkest, the middle, and the lightest. Next, we'll make some graded washes. These we will work in a downward from dark to light, and we're going to start by doing a wet graded wash first, meaning that the paper will be wet because our water is likely to be cleaner at this point than it will be later on. A graded wash just means that you're trying to cover an area starting with a concentrated color and smoothing out light to a lighter color. Remember when we completed the color study project? In that one we were making flat washes, but we did it in a similar way. This time we will be using water, adding water as we go along, and it might help us to have our paper just a little bit tilted. Start with your paper wet, but not too wet. If it seems a little too wet, then pull some of the wetness off with the dry brush. Again, don't take too much water, just a little, especially because the paper is already wet. Because the paper is already wet, you don't have to work as quickly. Next, we're going to work on the dry section. I'm going to use the same blue just so I can compare the two. You can use whatever color you choose. It helps if your brush isn't fully washed out, because notice I lost my color a little too soon on that first try, so that's why we're trying this over and over. Just wash out a little bit of the color. That's what this practicing is good for. I notice that I have a puddle near the bottom. So I'll take a dry, clean brush and clean that off. After you completed your 2 graded washes, you'll do 2 more with different effects. But first tell me, did you prefer doing the graded wash over wet paper or over dry? I found that over dry was a little tougher. There tends to be streaking if you're not moving quickly enough, but the wet paper gave me a little more time to blend. But next we're going to do 2 more graded washes. The first one, we're going to use actually a candle to make marks on this section. You can do whatever pattern, anything that you like. And the last one, we will use an alcohol pad in order to drip and get this effect after the paint is on the paper. I'll show you how I did that. Have fun. Thanks for watching.